Well, hi everyone, it's me again. It's another special StarNet Events webcast from the Folly of Star Foundation Yoda Guy movie exhibit. Actually, I'm at home today. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But, a lot of Star Wars fans consider Rogue One to be the best of the Disney Star Wars movies and Darth Vader to be their favorite villain. So I figured what's better than for me to get an hour or so with my good friend Spencer Wilding, who's the new man behind the black mask for Rogue One. And Spencer's done a lot of other famed series too, and I'll be talking to him about Doctor Who and Guardians of the Galaxy and Harry Potter and more. I'm streaming from home again today by the beach in St. Martin from the Star Wars apartment that we rent to fans who want a little Star Wars vacation here in the Caribbean. I'm Nick Maley, movie creature effects designer who worked on Yoda and 60 other movies, author, artist, and the aim of the Folly Star Foundation presentations that we do every Sunday is hoping to inspire creative minds of all ages. So
beautiful.
Let's get on with today's discussion by bringing in the star of our show, and there he is. What can I say, Spencer? It's great to see you again.
Great to see you too. Thanks for bringing me on, man. I've been itching to get on your show since your first broadcast. And I thought, when's it going to be my turn?
Yeah. Well, thanks for that.
Pleasure.
Because I've been hoping that we could get you on here too. We later on, I think somewhere in the photos, I show some of the stuff when we were doing conventions together back in the day when people had conventions. It must be pretty weird, sitting at home right now wondering when the hell all that's going to start again. But I think you're staying busy with various other shows and commercials and other stuff that you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I'm lucky. It was like almost 12 months since I got in front of the camera, but the phone calls are starting to call now. Obviously, everything's under COVID rules. It's very weird. Almost three weeks quarantine for one day's filming over in Prague not so long ago. But it is what it is. This is the new world. So
it is. It is. But hopefully, everything will settle a bit once once we've got herd immunity through vaccinations and other stuff. I think people need confidence to know that everyone isn't going to die when they take this vaccine. I'm due to have mine in I think on the 18th, so I'm just waiting for that right now. So
yeah, I've got to wait my turn because I'm obviously younger and stuff like that. But my mum has had her. She's all right. She hasn't grown a third head or anything, so she's good. We should all take the quarantine, take the vaccine, do as we're told, and then before we know it, it'd be a thought. Oh, do you remember them times when we had to do this?
Yeah,
and
right,
that?
exactly.
Just got to do what we got to do.
I was talking to someone about it a day or so ago who was saying to me, oh, yeah, but if I take the vaccine, I might still get it. And I'm saying, yeah, but what you got to remember is, yes, you might still get it, but you get it lighter. The critical thing is to not have so many people going to the hospital, because when you don't have the deaths and when you get rid of half the people who go to the hospital, well, then, the economy opens up. And that's what we all need in order to get our lives back again. Anyway, we're talking too much about that. Let's just take a look. I got a whole load of photos that relate to you and some of the stuff that you've been doing. And so I thought we could basically have a good look at that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's wake up the old memory box and let's talk about a bit of fun. What took place on all them sets all them years ago, and
Right,
recent
yeah.
stuff, and recent stuff,
Well,
obviously.
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to cover a bunch of different things that you've done, but of course, everybody, we've got a lot of Star Wars fans that come and watch our shows, and they're the people who I think of all the Star Wars new Disney movies, Rogue One is probably the most popular. I actually liked Solo. I thought it was more original than a lot of the others. But,
Yeah,
but Rogue One, and Darth Vader doing his thing, had everybody cheering in the aisles, and so it's good to get to some of that stuff. And we've got. Let me just make sure I'm on the right page here to see what I need to see in order to deal with that. Just having a little technical hiccup there. There we go. So,
there you go.
Darth Vader, he's the man. When the former Darth Vader was Dave Prowse was a really good friend. It must have been a little odd to go from stepping into the shoes that someone else had already created, and of course giving it your own personal twist.
Yeah, you know what? I met Dave for the first time. It must have been 10 years ago, and that was at Wigan Comic Con in the UK. And I shook Dave's hand, and I was there with my kid, and I looked him in the eyes, and I was 5 years old when I first seen Star Wars, 1977 when it came out. Everybody loves Star Wars, man. I mean, well, I did anyway, and all my kids do, and to be in the presence of Mr. Prowse, get his autograph, shake his hand, it was a big thing. But for 1 second, he looked at me and he held that stare for me for a minute, and maybe he felt something there, and maybe I felt something there that you never know. One day, I was.
Well, you're pretty much the same height. I think he was 5'7" or 5'8". Uh, I think we've lost just
That
lost
was America.
Spence there. Hopefully
So
he'll
sorry.
he'll
If that,
there he
yeah,
is.
no, sorry. America was calling in there. Apologise. I can't flight mode because it stops. So I'm going to get a couple of calls from America for a job. So it's one of them.
Well, that's okay.
It's all good.
Take it.
It's all good. So
Every time, anytime you disappear, I'll waffle on a bit. So
yeah,
anyway, I was saying, the two of you were pretty much the same size, and
yeah.
maybe he was a little bit broader because he was he still had the remnants of doing his Mr. Universe and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. He was such a nice, gentle soul, in fact. But when I first met up with you, I was really impressed with the strength of your personality that I think comes through, once you put that black suit on.
Yeah, but it's like all my characters. When you were saying it must be quite hard to go into a suit where the character's already been played, like Darth Vader. But luckily for me, I played the Wolfman. That's been done before. Frankenstein, I played Frankenstein. It's been done before.
Yeah.
So I have other characters I step in, but I believe the real presence and spirit of a character, right? And they're very real, and they choose that spirit and presence. I'm quite spiritual. It chooses their actor. There's a real presence there, and he takes your body, and then then it's his time to shine back in that suit, and he's having his moment again.
Mm.
So I'm very honoured that the Emperor chose me, to rock their baby for them. You know what I mean? Me and Dan, two of us play the part. So I won't. I'll always shout out Dan as well, because Dan did the end scene, absolutely killed it. I did the other scenes and some promotional work as well. So
Right.
very
Yeah.
happy with the fans were very happy with our work. So
Yeah.
it's
It was.
thumbs up.
Usually it's a team. If you really look at Boba Fett, for example, there's a whole bunch of people that Dave was the guy in the suit, the guy who was there every day, who gave the physical presence. But we had other people that were contributing to Darth Vader. Bob Anderson, who was doing all the swords work on the gantry, for example. Different people that were that contribute to creating that illusion along the way. I mean, we had 4 versions of Yoda as well, because we couldn't make one Yoda do everything. It's all part of that same sense of illusion. So here you are, Rogue One, Spencer Wilding. It's a nice piece. Is this one of the things that you do autographs on? Because it's almost screaming for an autograph on the bottom down there.
Yeah, well, what I've been on the Comic-Con circuit now since 2011. The first Comic-Con show I was in, it was in Philadelphia, Monster Mania, for the Wolfman, playing the Wolfman. So they invited me over there. So I've done like 40 odd characters before landing Darth Vader, and they're all like sort of fan based. They love the characters as I do. So I do, when I have time, I love going to the Comic-Cons. I love meeting the fans. And what I really buzz off is the cosplays. They will train they will work on their suit, creating a suit for a whole year for their day to get into that character and to live their character and walk around the show. I love seeing that, I love seeing that.
And we do quite a lot for cosplay here, because we try to, what we're trying to do is encourage creativity. And actually, there's quite a lot of cosplayers who've gone from being, amateurs pursuing their passion to being professionals working for Marvel and Disney and others. A number of my regulars that come on the show and sometimes host for me. I have Cynthia Kirkland she works for Disneyland, making making the costumes for them, and is a cosplayer and an award winner, and so she knows more about a lot of that world than I do. So we often co-host together, and I think it's great to see them. And some of those cosplay outfits are extraordinary. I mean, they can be really, really
amazing,
because they spent a year making them, right?
Yeah, I did a Comic-Con over in Mexico City a few years back, and the cosplayers were more famous than the actors. Literally, they had some of their costumes are unbelievable, and it's like I'm like all these queues, all going around all the building for the cosplayers. It's just incredible. So the real talented people to create them suits as well, and they're pretty important on the Comic-Con circuit.
Yeah, well, just I don't know, 4 weeks ago or so, we had one cosplayer that's got 4.5 million followers on Facebook. You're right.
Amazing,
it happens. So anyway, getting back to these photos, here we've got Darth Vader going home. Tell me all about this.
Right. Well, this here now, you can see the lights to the right there. That's Ellis's bar, and I used to work the doors and security and barman there for since I was 16 years old till I well into my 30s. I put a backdrop behind me here now, a nice little poster, and the sellotape does not light the wall at all. So if that falls down, I apologise for that. The force is strong in this house. So anyway, coming back to this. So this is Water Street, and all these lovely people here in the background in the cosplays. I do a lot for my hometown and the little towns around us. So when I landed Darth Vader, it was a huge thing for Little Rill, Prestat, and Melden, all the little towns where I lived, to Darth Vader to be,
right.
from this little town. So what we did, I had friends that had the cinema up the road, and we made a big night of it, and it's funny actually, because I thought to myself, I got in touch with a lot of people. Paul Brady, the superheroes in the UK, does all the cosplay stuff there, a lot of charity work there, several other groups, and they were all up for it. We had like 20 stormtroopers, then we had Chewbaccas, we had about, I don't know, there must have been 60 cosplayers there. You know, with it was amazing. And we on Ellis's, the nightclub where I used to be working, they let us have the premises so everybody could get dressed up in there. And I said to the guys, because we knew HTV News was there, BBC News, S4C, all the main news channels were there, because obviously Darth Vader is putting this little premiere on in real, and it's huge for the community. It's a free event. Everybody come along and enjoy yourselves. So all the guys got there like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I said, right, I'm not. People will turn up for this because it's quite a short notice and stuff. It was like on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night because people were working the next day. So I popped my head out. They were all ready to go. It was like 4:00. I popped my head out. Still, the street was empty, and I'm thinking, oh no, nobody's turned up for it. And I was more concerned that because I wanted the guys, the cosplays, to have their moment, and hopefully some people turn. So we waited another half an hour, and then we thought, right, let's just go out now. And as I come out the building, the street, from an empty street, all of a sudden, there's thousands of people there. Literally, it took me 100 meters from the main road to walk to the entrance to the cinema. It took me an hour and a half to get to that door, and it was only 100 feet. It was an incredible moment,
and I'm sure that was such a buzz for you, as because it was your hometown, right?
Yeah,
I see. I'm not sure whether this is from that, but it looks like you were having a good time wherever it was.
That'll be at one of the Comic Cons. You know what I mean? And
right. And you do.
Me and the cosplayers, we get on.
Yeah, and me too. We've got a few pictures from some of those. Some of those cosplays here. You're being the strong man with your lightsaber there, but. These are fun sort of images, and you and I actually we all got together, at one of those Comic Cons.
That there was Andy Cleeks for the Love of Sci-Fi. Yeah,
exactly.
So obviously, in Manchester, Bowler's Manchester. He puts some amazing shows on the UK. One of the best for sure.
He does. Just look at the guys that are here. You've got Mike Quinn. Well, you've got you and me, but you got Mike Quinn, who plays Nien Nunb in Star Wars. You've got Caleb McLaurin, McLaughlin, who's from Stranger Things.
There you go.
The big Lou Ferrigno, who's the Incredible Hulk, and from Ghostbusters, Ray Parker. And those weren't the only ones that were there. This is in the middle of the convention, and a lot of the other people who were there were downstairs. We had Greedo there, and all
everybody,
all kinds of other people. Yeah, it was a great time.
Well, Andy's one of the big guns, so he's got the power there to bring in all the guys from all over the world, because he is very much for the fans, So it's not just about making the money with Andy. He's for the fans, and it shows,
It does.
So it's really he's still kept the family feel, It's not too commercialized.
We had Yoda there, who was conducting the symphony orchestra. And we did panels together. Yeah.
There you go.
It was during this panel that I thought to myself that you'd be really good to have on this show. I'm not quite sure what you were communicating here, but
I don't know. So I you know what I'm like, as soon as I see a camera, I'll play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Well, I hear that. Yes, exactly. And we had a great time.
Yeah, it was a magical moment.
It was there that I kind of met members of your family,
there you go. Yeah.
This is a great photo,
Right. Well, this here, I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
Right, I'll tell you now. So I was doing a Comic Con over in New York, and Stan Lee was headlining it, but Stan Lee got a little bit poorly, so he didn't turn up. So I automatically was headlining it, and I hadn't seen my sister Samantha Phillips for over a year, and she lives in the Cayman Islands. And she said, "Spen, why don't you fly over to us? It's not too far from New York, because her husband Mark Phillips, he's the #1 QC corporate in the world, and he was working on the biggest legal case in history. This thing had been going on for 2 years. So I flew over to the Cayman Islands. That was right outside my sister's gaff. And what a place, beautiful. And the Cayman Islands, wow, it's paradise, And you're used to paradise. You're used to paradise, Nick. You live in it,
Yeah, that's
So
true.
there you go.
True. I do. Yeah, I do.
So there's Sammy, Maxie's on my shoulder, my nephew, and Ava in front of us, my sister. Yeah, beautiful.
Right. Yeah, and it's nice to be able to combine a bit of friendship with that stuff. I like the Comic Cons as much for hanging out with my old friends in the green room and having supper together and just touring as I do. The convention itself. It's kind of like a holiday in some ways.
Yeah, of course it
but
is.
You started out as not as an actor at all. You started out as a fighter, right?
Look at them eyes. Look at them eyes.
Yes, I know.
I think
you're playing the part to intimidate the shit out of whoever you're fighting, I think.
This fight here now, it was a guy called Rob Morton, right? I think it was Rob Morton. And I basically knocked him out. So I was very, very much still in that zone, And it's the sort of zone I go to with my characters as well. Your eyes go black, you're very focused, and you're in that zone, man. There's nothing else there but that scene and what's going on and your character's presence and spirits with you. So, and I play a lot of deep characters, dark characters. So, it was an amazing feeling. So that's why the eyes are black. And I was just, I was fighting for my life. Basically, because that's what professional kickboxing is. You're going in there to beat him,
it is actually a dangerous place. Your nose. You weren't born with that nose, were you?
No, I wasn't. And it changes a lot. My nose is obviously taking the front seat for all the impacts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But I had 19 fights, 18 wins, 14 knockouts, 3 titles. So I did all right.
You did pretty damn well, I would say. Pretty damn well, yeah. But so someone suggested you were a bit of a tearaway as a kid. I was. Is that true? Were you a bit of a lad?
Well, I was a bit of a boy. You know what? We live in a little seaside town. You know what I mean? We'd go out. We'd have a few drinks. You'd probably have a little few fights. It is what it is. It's part of growing up. I was never bad. I was never a bully. Always been a protector. But yeah, I've had me few scrapes along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you and I have something in common too. That as kids, we kind of both had learning disabilities. I had attention deficit and dyslexia, and I understand you had a really bad dyslexia too. And one of the things we try to do here is to encourage people to, not think badly of themselves just because, they're not necessarily the smartest kid in the class. I mean, actually, in my day, no one knew what any of those things were. If you couldn't read, when they used to do this thing to me where they would make me read in class when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I just I would stumble over these words and I would swap words around, and people would laugh at me and ridicule you, and they just thought I was stupid at that time.
Yeah, well, you know what? You've just opened up a load of memory boxes from all them days ago. Back in the day, I'm nearly, I'm 50 in a year and a half. Well, yet less than that. And I went to a Catholic school. I'm very open about my dyslexia as well. I couldn't read or write till I was 32 years old. That's a long time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a long time.
I went into the film industry not knowing how to read at the time. Well, we'll get into that later on from this.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to the cane when I was 5 years old. That's the
Right.
start, you know. And again, I used to made up to stand in front of the class and read. I couldn't even read, man. It was cruel. They knew the score. I think some of the
Yeah.
teachers back then were just as cruel as the kids who are doing it, laughing at you. Why do
Well,
that to the kid who they know they can't read or write? You know, why do that?
It's kind of funny you say that, because not so much my primary school, but my secondary school that I went to when I was 11. They recently put a picture of me up in the school, you know, like one of the people to look up to, who was a past boy at the school. And you know, I wanted to say, you know, that school was not the same place when I was there as it is, you know, now. I believe I see all the programs that they're doing to encourage people. I mean, we went to school every day expecting to be beaten. It was just the way it was. You know?
We used to have, you know, the teachers used to be beating us up. The headmasters used to be caning us. Oh, it was like crazy days. But like you say, it was a different sort of world back then. They thought a spirited kid. How do we deal with a spirited kid? Give him a cane, give him a slap over the head, blah, blah, blah. What now, if there's a spirited kid, they sit back and go, why is this kid like this? Let's analyze him a little bit. What's wrong? Because it's a good time to have dyslexia, you know, and things like this. Because normally a dyslexic kid, he isn't thick. He's very, very smart. And
it can be very smart. The same with autistic kids. I've been asked to do motivational talks for autistic conventions, and a lot of those kids, they may not be able to do everything that a normal kid can, but often they can do things that normal people can't do. You know, with maths, or they see things in a different way. It's just the brain working in a different way.
That's it.
In my book, I say, don't feel bad about being different. Celebrate that, because it's the people who are different that change the world. All your heroes are not normal.
I believe every kid has a gift. Every kid that's born has a gift. You've just got to find it. But, you know, maybe they don't want everybody to live their dreams. Maybe they do need the cogs to keep the wheels turning. Do you know what I mean? You know, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Maybe, you know, but everybody has a dream. My dream is to be an actor and being a champion kickboxer. Somebody else's dream might be to be the best bricklayer or the best swimmer or this, that, and the other. Everybody go for your dreams. Very important.
It actually doesn't matter what your goal really is. The critical thing, actually, you know, that I spell out in my book, is that you need to be sure that every single day you get 1 centimeter closer to where you're trying to go. You've got all kinds of other stuff you've got to do. That you don't edge in the right direction by looking something up, or learning a new skill, or just learning where you got to go to learn a new skill. You know, it's the internet is there. You can learn so much that you and I didn't have the opportunity.
What did we have? We had to do smoke signals, or no, tell a lie. I had a CB 14 for a copy. Now listen to this, right? My CB handles, right, were Bigfoot and Monster Munch, right? I ended up like when I was 10, if that, you know, we all who had the biggest aerial back in the day, you know what I mean?
Right.
We used to, So so Bigfoot and Monster Munch, there's something in that, because I ended up playing Bigfoot for Monster Munch for the crisps.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
That's
the Walker's crisps, Amazing,
well,
that
kind of brings me on to onto the next set of images, because you know, here we've got a range of stuff that you've played, from you know, Wolfman through you know, to Doctor Who, and you know, so how did you make that transition from kickboxing to following your other dream? Because you know, in many ways, you know, I wanted to be you know, work in movies, but I also wanted to be an artist, and I kind of piggybacked off the movies to make my paintings and sell my paintings. You know, I guess you as a kickboxer champion got some notoriety, and that led you to your first opportunities in front of the big screen.
Yeah, that Minotaur, what you're seeing there to the right of the screen there. I played 2 Minotaurs. One was that character there isn't from Doctor Who. It's Wrath of the Titans, which is Class of the Titans 2.
Right. Yeah.
You
Got
know,
it.
I
Yeah.
I I did a scene bashing up Sam Worthington. You know what I mean? And he ended up
Yeah.
bashing me up as well. It's his show, so he won.
Yeah.
So
I
it is
couldn't.
what it is.
I couldn't remember what it was from, so I mentioned Doctor Who because, of course, we have such a lot of Doctor Who fans. But
Yeah.
you've done a hell of a lot of different things that people really, I think, wouldn't necessarily
No.
know that you'd been involved in. I mean, we've got
Yeah, I know.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, Harry Potter, Wolfman, Batman Begins, Hellboy, the Frankenstein's monster, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Doctor Who. I mean, that's a hell of a range that you've
And
clocked up there.
that's just the top of the iceberg as well. It's probably another 40 credits to that, you know.
Right,
But
of course.
but
No,
how I got
those are
into
just the famous ones.
Hey, they're all famous. No, but no, how I got in, I'm very spiritual. Some people believe in them worlds, some people don't. Everybody to their own. But I'm very, very connected to my stuff. And when I was a kid, people used to say to me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I'm going to be a movie star." No, really. What do you want to be? Grow up. What do you want to be when you
Yeah,
grow up? I'm going to be a movie star. But they wouldn't. That really? You're a kid who can't read or write. There's nobody in the
yeah,
industry
yeah,
who's.
exactly.
There's nobody in your family that were in the industry at the time. Now there is, and
Yeah,
how are you going to do it? So later on in life, I went working all around Europe, doing construction work in Holland, Germany, France. Come back, then I started kickboxing, and I thought to myself, my thoughts, my dreams are still with me. I'm going to be in a movie. What's going on? And I'm thinking all this stuff, and my thought come down. I call my fight gods, gave me a message saying, listen. You're going to get into the kickboxing. You're going to become a champion kickboxer. There's going to be a guy in the audience who go, "Hey, want to be in the movies?" He wasn't
yeah,
there, but when I took the Welsh and British title, I got signed up with a sports workshop over in Crystal Palace in London. That 1 second, right? 1 second. So a message has come through then.
yeah,
So that signed up basically athletes that are at the top of the game. They put them in adverts, movies, whatever, right? And then later, I was with them for a few years. Then later on down the line, I got my acting agent, so with more acting work, not so much some background stuff. So it was good. So that's how I got into it. But the only way I could get in there was being a champion kickboxer. And isn't it funny how that message come through to me? The guy with a
yeah,
cigar. No, that wasn't the guy with a cigar. That was the movie agency that was going to sign you up because you're dealing with the sports.
yeah,
It's magical. I love all that stuff. You should always
yeah.
listen to your gut, listen to your thoughts.
Absolutely. At the back end of my book, I talk about, having grown up in that school that we talked about. And the fact that when I was 13, my teacher decided he was going to set me straight and tell me that I was an idiot and that all these fancy ideas I had would never amount to anything and that I should take up woodwork and metal work and go to work in a factory. And he thought, he was setting me straight just like
Mm,
that person who was talking to you.
mm,
I say, don't let your life be limited by someone else's lack of imagination.
exactly.
You've got to follow your dream. You just keep edging. Maybe it'll take you 20 years to get where you want to go, and that might seem longer than you want, but actually the journey is very valuable too. And
Yes,
you learn so much along the way.
yeah. Because my acting school, people said, "Did you ever go to acting college?" And I said, "No, nothing." Because I fell in. I was fighting 3 weeks before I fell in front of my first movie role, playing the werewolf in the Prison of Azkaban. You know,
Right.
it's literally like that. So my life has been my acting school. You know, that's how
Sure.
I've built my confidence and this, that, and the other. And yeah. And you should, like I
And you
say, sometimes listen to other people's. You can listen to other people, but you don't have to take it. You don't have to. If let's say a parent or somebody else says no, why are you thinking like this? Don't be chasing them dreams. get to school and do your homework. Yes, get to school, do your homework, because you need to take the knowledge to get a job. You know, because if you want to go for a dream like myself and you need to fuel that dream, because it doesn't come to you. There's a greater force at play. Watching you put all that hard work in, then you will get rewarded for it. You know, but it doesn't happen like that. You know,
no, and everything you learn is a tool in this toolbox that you use later on down the line. You don't know how you're going to use it, but when you got a tool someone else hasn't got, that's a bonus. That moves you forward. Anyway, moving forward, we've got Doctor Who. Being from England, Doctor Who is like an institution there, right?
Well, Wales. I'm from.
Sorry. I'm from England. I'm from England.
Sorry,
being from England, it's like an installation there. But being from Britain, it's absolutely the case. And I don't know whether what order these were in, but these were some of those characters that I think you were playing from that.
Yeah. I'll talk you through them if you wish.
Why not? Let me go back to the beginning. There you go.
Right. That there is the Minotaur, right? And that was the first character I played for in the Doctor Who, the beautiful Doctor Who family. And I've been with them for the past 10 years on and off. And I absolutely love going to work for the BBC and portraying another character for them. So this is the Minotaur. And if you had faith, I could kill you and leave you dead on the floor. And it was a god complex. And it's the first time I worked with one of the doctors, which was the Matt Smith era. Because my first 3 characters, so that's the Minotaur. The next one we see is Skeldek, right? And Skeldek, I think, it was Skeldek next. He's from Skeldek was from the Cold War. And he was the most honourable warrior from planet Mars. So himself and his daughter were in a galactic war, and then flash bang wallop, something happened. His ship exploded. He ended up going off track, hitting the planet Earth, and he was in the polar ice caps for 5,000 years frozen. Right, and then all of a sudden, this submarine coming along in the Cold War, so it's full of nukes. They find this big block of ice, and they think it's a walrus, from all them thousands of years ago, right? So they weren't supposed to defrost it. They were just waiting anyway. There's a very cautious guy on board, and he just happened to have a Bunsen burner with him. So he actually melted the block of ice. So Skeldek come out of the block of ice, and being the most honourable warrior from planet Mars, Skeldek, right? All of a sudden tuned into where he was, tuned in that he was on a nuclear sub, which is not honourable, having a nuclear weapon, and he automatically, he sussed out the human race thinking, you know what, you're not an honourable race, I'm going to kill you all, and he was just going to hit that big red button and blow up the whole ship. But then the doctor got into his head and said, no, listen, no, not all humans are like this. And he's talking him through the story of the human race, and there's good, there's bad, there's evil, and in the world, in everywhere, I suppose. And then he relaxed with him. And he goes, okay. So his people come down and got him, and he didn't blow up the planet Earth. He said, "You sort it out," and left.
Yeah, I'm glad about that. If he'd blown up the planet, we couldn't have had this show, really, could we? So that
we couldn't have.
No, that wouldn't have worked out. Yeah.
And the other character
is coming up right now.
The Wooden King, right?
Yeah.
The Wooden King, right? The Wooden King, because I think he might have been my 3rd character. I'm not sure now. I'd have to go back to my IMDb. Yeah. So the Queen is actually Paul Casey, the performer Paul Casey, an amazing performer, a brilliant actor, movement coordinator. He's got the whole package. And me and Paul Casey have worked on several jobs together. So I'm the Wooden King. He's the Wooden Queen. And basically, we've got a whole forest living in our head, So it's amazing, another great story. And I think this had 7.5 million viewers
Right.
on this. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a big one. Yeah, and this here now, he's the last character, right? I played for the Doctor Who, the last one. Hopefully, it's not going to be the last one. So the dregs, they are basically the human race after all the human race are dead, and they've developed into these. So after the human race have destroyed planets Earth, air is nothing but carbon dioxide out there. They've destroyed the plants, the you know, the all the warming weather and all that. We've just done a number on the planet. So, but it's a great story. It's a great story for everybody to watch and listen and learn off this program. It's very clever how Doctor Who have put this across. So the dregs, I played the lead dreg, and I played another dreg, and oh, there we go. There's my posters down now. Yeah, he's down. Oh, here we go. Right. Well, let's leave him there. I'm sure the fans will have a fan with that one. So anyway,
that's all right.
so the dregs, they breathe in carbon dioxide and blow out oxygen. So they're like trees, right?
Uh-huh.
So and it's a great little episode. I think it's called Orphan 56 or 66, something like that. Apologies, I forgot about the number. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, well worth watching that. And we filmed that in the UK and Tenerife. We had two guys special.
It's all right.
We had two. Right, we had two special extras over in Spain that I got to train and bring them in because I had 2 hours to work with these guys, you know. So I was under it because they'd never been in front of camera before. They're just two really tall guys, and I've got the capabilities there of training other people as well because I do that. I've done it for many years, and then we had two in the UK and that's the first credit in almost 50 credits that I've been given. The BBC, the beautiful people, gave me the movement coordinator credit on the series, which is awesome. You know, obviously getting the credit as a lead reg as well. So I was like, thank you very much. You know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's always nice though to when you can expand from your basic base. One of the things again that I recommend to people, I say, you know, whatever it is that you've got qualified as, don't call yourself that. If you've got an engineering degree, say you've got an engineering degree, don't say you're an engineer because it discourages you from being a poet as well. You know, you can be whatever. You know, just take that knowledge base and expand, you know, from that into something else. So, you know, you're a performer that, you know, you're effectively becoming really almost a mind coordinator by what you were doing there in showing them. On Life Force, we had one guy who was a mime artist who came in just to teach, you know, 100 and something zombies, you know, how they should be walking and how we wanted those to be. You know, but it's an extension of being a performer, and
of course it is.
There is you can just grow and grow and grow and grow. You know, growing is what makes life more interesting too. Now we're going to go through. We're going to go through a few more of your characters, and you'll forgive me if I pulled a lot of these off the internet, and I don't necessarily immediately register what is from what. So you're gonna tell us about it, right?
Right.
The blue character here.
Right. This is funny because them two characters there, right? I would never take anybody else's work. So this here now, I was the first White Walker on the Game of Thrones, right? So this here now is Ian Ross, right? Is Ross Mullin, but they're a White Walkers. They're all the same. You know what I mean? Sort of simples, right? And this is Dan in the costume in the just after he's taken everybody out in the corridor. So I play both these characters, but they're both pictures ain't me. That's Dan and that's Ross. You know, there is other characters out. Right, okay, so just right there to that one. And this here now is a very exciting character for me to play. So I get the phone call and the audition for this guy here is called Luca Brasi. Right?
Okay.
Luca Brasi is a very, very famous name in the Hollywood world from the original Godfathers. You know, the films, the Godfathers. So Luca Brasi was one of their Godfathers who got hit and choked out. So when I landed this role, I was actually doing a Comic-Con and some charity work over in America for Scott Johnson, who's like a brother to me, and he runs the SWAT team and he does a lot of stuff for charity over there. So I go over there once a year. I do some charity work for the poorly kids, raise some money for the charities. I like that. I get off on that. It's my thing, helping the kids out. Right, I like that. You can't do it every day because it takes too much of your time up. But you've got to put it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I'm going to a convention, I actually ask them if there's a local kids hospital or something like that we can take Yoda to and brighten their day as an extra little Buntsy thing.
And you know what?
And I enjoy it too, right? So
yeah, of course. And it's the best medicine out there. Love.
Yeah.
Love is a better medicine than anything because love is full of miracles, man. It is. You know, and miracles happen. So anyway, go back to this one. So Luca Brasi. So when I auditioned from Luca Brasi, I was thinking, when I got the audition in, I was in America. I'm thinking, how can I do a self-tape for them? So they brought me into the SWAT building over in Port St. Lucie, right? And we went through Scott. If it wasn't for Scott, I wouldn't have got this role. And I'll hold my hands up and I'd say that because he helped me so much. I had to put all this dialogue in a short period of time. So he worked with me, and then he sorted out in the room, and we both did it together. And I got it locked down and brought the character for him. You know, because Luca Brasi in Men in Black 4, he's like the lead baddie's sidekick that does all the dirty work. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
and I actually beat up Chris Hemsworth and lived to tell the tale. You know Thor. So I'm talking to Thor. I beat him up, and it's a great scene. If you haven't seen Men in Black 4, well worth a watch. You know.
Okay.
Well
No,
worth a watch.
I don't think I have actually. But anyway, what else have we got? We've got this guy here.
Oh, right. Let me tell you about this one. So these are two characters off a very well-known show that we all know, Harry Potter, right? So you've got Death Eater.
Right. You're talking about this photograph being two characters, right?
Yes. So Death Eater. Death Eater's the guy in all black.
Yeah.
And Greyback is the one on the left, right? So they asked. I was casted to play Greyback, right? And it's a big thing for me because one of my good friends who passed away now, you may know him, Dave Legino, right? And he played a very well known actor, got his name up in the big bright lights, and he was playing Greyback on the Harry Potters, you know. So he was the actor under the makeup there. So when I got all this audition to play this, I was like, "Come on, Dave, come to me, man. You know, if I don't get this job here now." Because I've played a werewolf, a wolfman. I've got to get Greyback. Come on, please, let me play it, Dave. Bring your soul down to me. So Dave got me that job. So I was really made up there. And there's a stunt guy called Steve, and he was playing Death Eater, and there was a lot of going on there. So they asked me to would you share the credit with him? Would you jump in the costume as well? And I said yeah. So Steve did all the stunty bits. I did the acty bits. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So
cool. Exactly.
We filmed that in Lisbon, and it was for Harry Potter Wizard Unite game for the iPhone app. So it's a big thing.
Cool.
Ah, there you go. Me God. So this character, again, is from a very, very well-known show called Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you seen it?
I have, but in fact, the kind of designer for a lot of the the prosthetics chief for Guardians of the Galaxy in England was a trainee with me when he was 16 years old, and I'm kind of proud that he is now part of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts, and actually vote to decide who's gonna get the Oscar. That's a long road along the way. So it's a good character, good looking character.
Yeah, he's beautiful. When how well is your friend doing now? It's I love to see people doing well. I don't hold any jealousy or anything. I just
No, me
love to see
neither.
people doing well in any world. I just love to see them doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And good luck to him. He should get that Oscar. You know, I've been very lucky. I've worked with Rick Baker, Dave Elsey, all the big guys, Goran,
Right.
all these big, great guys. You know, so I love
Sure.
to be in their presence. People say, "How do you find it being on the stool? You know, being on the chair for 5 hours while they're doing your makeup?" I
Hmm.
find it. I feel honoured to be in their presence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's nice. And it's
yeah,
not
that's what it
always,
is.
I can tell you from experience, it's not always that way. So
No,
the
I know.
people, actually, the people who are the best known, often are the easiest to work with.
Of course.
The people who are, have come from being a star in a TV series or something else can and feel they got to prove how important they are, tend to be less respectful and give you more of a runaround.
I
Um,
don't, but
you know,
it is what it
Anthony
is. But
Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins was a wonderful guy to work with. I had him
beautiful.
sitting. I had him sitting in the chair. We got the job done in 3 hours that could have taken 5 if I'd had someone
Yeah.
that was just farting around more. It's
Well, I worked with Sir Anthony Hopkins on The Wolfman, right?
yeah, yeah.
Because do you want to tell me? Do you want me to tell you a story, a funny story on set?
Sure, why not? Why not? I'm going to
Okay.
actually save it. Hang on, I've got the Wolfman. I'm going to come up to that in a minute. Let's save that story for when
Okay.
we got the
Remind me.
Wolfman on the screen. I will. Don't worry. Here we've got you as the monster in Victor Frankenstein, I think.
Prometheus. That's
Yeah,
right.
Prometheus was the character, right? But of course, when
That's
someone
right.
says Prometheus, everybody thinks
You don't know the
of the
film.
Aliens movie.
That's it. Yeah. So I'll tell you a story about this one now, right? So there's John
Yes.
McAvoy. Yeah, James McAvoy. Sorry. So like you say, I'm connected to my stuff. I knew I was going to work on a Frankenstein film one day and play Frankenstein. Right? I just knew it. I had a feeling. So one day, Victor Frankenstein rings my agency up, the casting agent, and said,
Yep.
"We want we want Spencer to come in." I'm thinking, I said, brilliant. I said, is it to play Frankenstein? He said, no, it's not to play Frankenstein. I went, oh, who's it to
Yeah.
play then? So it's to play the strongman in the circus, Nathaniel. I went, oh, sound. It's great. What it is, I must be just Frankenstein film. I'm not playing Frankenstein. It's to be on a Frankenstein film. Right, okay, I'll take that one off. So I go in. They said to me first, they said, can you grow a beard? And I said, you know what? I've never gone past the second week. So anybody with a beard out there has said this several times. I salute you because it felt like I was giving birth out my face. After 2 weeks, it was mental. So anyway, so I go in there and I grow this beard for 5 months. Right, I still don't know what's going on. I had a funny feeling they're going to shave it into this strong man tash. So that feeling was right, and it looked amazing. It looked like I grow a really good thick tash, good thick
Uh-huh.
beard. And they shaped it. So there is pictures out there on the internet you might come across one day, Nick, as me as the strong man. So I open up the film. There's a big chase taking place in the circus, and people didn't even recognize me. That I had to tell them that's me.
Yeah,
Although I've got a
right.
tash on there,
Yeah,
it's a disguise. And I
sure.
built myself up to about 17 stone, 17, 18 stone. So, and I do it naturally. So it takes time, and I looked apart. I had this
Hmm.
leotard on, a leopard leotard, and it was a sold. So anyway, so on the Friday after filming, I was coming back on the Monday for doing some more stuff, and the second or the third, the first or second AD rings me up, said, "Hi, Ben." I said, "Yeah, everything all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, what it is?" And I stopped him straight away. I said, "You want me to play Frankenstein, don't you?" And he goes, "Now, how do you know that? I'm on the third step coming out of production office." I had a feeling, man. I just had a feeling. So the guy they had in, it was such an intensive role, a really intensive role. Really, it pounded him. So they needed 2 people to play the part now. So we've got a
Okay.
shared credit. He's a
Okay.
beautiful man, big French guy, and amazing features. he was playing Frankenstein's monster Prometheus, and then he brought me in as well to share the credit to play him as well. So he did scenes, I did scenes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was beautiful of the production, Warner Brothers or whoever it is, to give me 2 credits on one show. You
Yeah,
know,
that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's unheard of. That's unheard of. I've never seen that before. So
Well, there
I've
was,
done it.
Kenny Baker's
Yeah.
partner, Jack Purvis,
Right.
would play like 3 parts in most Star Wars movies, but he
Yeah.
he was such a part of the environment that you couldn't think of a Star Wars movie without Jack being there, and
Yeah.
yet because he wasn't playing R2D2,
Yeah.
everybody kind of looked by him, but he'd
Yeah.
be like 3 characters, because oh, you're not filming as the chief Ugnaught today. Hang on a minute, we'll throw you in this other character on this other set, because they had them both on contract. But yeah, you're right. It's very, very unusual to have that, especially when one of them is is a featured part, like Frankenstein Monster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And I've done other shows as well. I'm playing 2 or 3 characters on the same show. But yeah, but not on a film. You know what I mean? On the one show, 2 characters. It's quite nice. You know what I mean? But I can bring it. I can do them sort of things, and I can jump into different presences and spirits.
And talking about different spirits, here we are. We're back to the story about the Wolfman.
Oh,
so yeah, right. So come on, tell me your story about Sir Anthony.
Right, okay. So we're both Welsh, and it's an absolute privilege and honour to be around him, and because he shot. Dave Garrett was his stunt double, and I was Benicio del Toro's stunt double. You know what I mean? But we did quite a lot of the work. But it is what it is. But it was great to play the Wolfman. So this specific day, Sir Anthony Hopkins was in costume for 11 or 12 hours in that suit. And I think he was about 76, something like that at the time. And he didn't moan once. And he loved every moment of it. And I know he would be feeling it in that costume. I know he would be. Because you know what? And hat off to him. I just got nothing but utmost. I respected the guy before meeting him. Now, even utmost respect. If I see him again, I'll bow. He's such an incredible, brilliant man, and he's a beautiful man as well on the other outside off the camera. So anyway, this specific day, there was like about 7 producers on the Wolfman, huge Universal remake, right? And they all come up to me in my trailer and they said, "Spen, Anthony is very nervous about working with you today because he's seen how ferocious you are on camera and how you're the real Wolfman." Yeah, I said, "Listen, please, let's have a chat before he goes into costume. Please let me have a chat." So he brings me over to Anthony's trailer or on the set, wherever it was, and I said, "Listen, Mr. Sir Anthony Hopkins, please call me Tony." I said, "Tony, I'm gonna rip your throat out and tear you back off. But you'll feel like a baby in my arms." And he looked at me in the eyes, and he goes, "Okay." So his lovely wife was there at the time. My family were there. Everybody was behind the monitor watching this brilliant moment happen. Where the werewolf and the Wolfman go head to head. And the Wolfman kills his father. Yeah, it's a powerful scene. It's a powerful scene. So I'm on stilts now as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on
stilts.
I
know
and Anthony, he was a beautiful man. But he's a biggish guy, So, but I was treating him like a baby. Honestly, I was. But it's very hard to treat somebody like a baby and try and rip their throat out at the same time.
Of
you know what I mean?
Of course.
So, anyway, this first take, I picked him up, ripping his back and rolling him about, but at the same time, I was being so delicate with him at the same time. I was holding a baby. In my mind. But it looked, on the outside, it looked like I was trying to kill him. and his wife went, it's hurting my husband, I can't take it. Yeah! She freaked out, and I was like, I'm doing a good job. And Anthony goes, don't worry. I feel like a baby in your arms. Keep going. And I was like, So we filmed together for 10, 11 hours that day, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, and he came up to me at the end, he goes, it was an absolute pleasure to work with you, Spencer. And I was like, oh, listen,
yeah,
please,
and that's
Sir Anthony
a
Hopkins. And I was
prize in
like,
itself, isn't it? That's like a golden reward, you know. I
I've
had
got tears in my eyes now.
I'd actually been warned not to work with him because someone said, "Oh, he's been a drunk and he was this and he was that." And he was the absolute opposite of everything that I was told. And he said to me, I had him coming in to. We were trying to make Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he was in makeup for. I 33 days out of 5 weeks, right? And he said to me, I'll come in whatever time you want me here, to do the job. And he was coming in, I was in the studio at 4:30 a.m. for us to get him on set for 8 o'clock. There was no giving on that. And we were still filming at 11 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah. I know the makeup,
right? And I remember really well. There's a scene in that. It's a Hallmark version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and there's a scene there where Quasimodo is looking, round the bell at the beautiful Esmeralda, and he's saying, "No, don't look at me. Don't look at me." Right? Yeah.
And wow!
I'm telling you, the grip, and the electricians, they're in tears behind me, just watching this guy. He was just so good, and he looked after that makeup as best he possibly could. He was a joy to work with, and he went on. They interviewed him on ITN News, about what it was like to play this part, and he said, it's easy. He said, I don't have to do anything. My makeup man Nick did all the hard work.
How beautiful is that?
How
beautiful is that?
What a giving human being that is, right?
Oh, mate. No, you know what? It's one of them. It's like, I'll shout out the guys all the time. Do you know what I mean? They should have. Everybody should have their moment. Like you're having your moment, Nick, and you got your show, and you tell people what you've done, and you've got. You're a legend, a living legend, right? A living legend, and what you've done. And
you're not on your.
No, I'm not kissing off either. I'm just saying it how it is. They should. All the guys should do this. It's very important. That's why I shout out the stunt guys. I shout out the act. I shout out everybody. Everybody I'm around, I'll try and shout out. I don't need to. I've done everything. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't need to do it. It's just my mate.
I became known as that Yoda guy because people would come off the cruise ships and they couldn't remember my name, and they'd ask locals, "Where's that Yoda guy?" And so we put it on the outside of the gallery I had at that time. But then I put up I think it was the late 90s. I put up a website called Those Yoda Guys, and talked about 7 or 8 other people that were all involved in making Yoda and bringing him the way he was, because you don't actually gain that much from trying to hog the limelight. In my book I say, if you uplift the people around you, they uplift you with them. And you can't fly through the stratosphere if you're trying to hold other people down. It's a different mindset, but yeah, it's the same thing. Give credit where credit is due, and people will give you credit for what you're doing too.
Yeah, I remember when I said living legend there, because we all know a guy called Meatloaf, right?
Okay, Meatloaf. Yeah, Meatloaf, sure.
Yeah, the singer. So I was at a Comic-Con in over in Orlando, Megacon. How big is that? Megacon. It's like, I don't know,
Yeah,
three-quarters of a million people. 3/4 of a million people go to there over them 4 days. It's a big one. So I was in the green room with Meatloaf, and I said, "Oh man, you're a legend." He goes, "No, I'm not a legend. Legends are dead." I said, "All right, and you're a living legend." So he corrected me and he told me off and schooled me. He told me how it is. I went, "All right, sorry about that."
Yeah.
But,
But actually, that's one of the things I like about doing these conventions. We do hang out with a lot of living legends, people who, that you didn't think, you were gonna, you would have the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with. It's
when are we gonna get to work with these guys and be in their presence? There's so many of them. But the Comic Cons, they bring you together, especially for the fans. They get to meet and Q and A's and go home, and that'll put them on a high for the rest of their life. It's beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I don't turn them down. I do them when I can do them. Do you know what I mean? So it's awesome, man.
Yeah, and getting back to Wolfman, that was a really nice version of Wolfman. I thought
beautiful.
It has, it's not just the face makeup. They managed to, really carry it through, very nicely. So
the test makeup, right? The test makeup on the Wolfman. Do you want me to tell you a story about that?
Sure. Okay. Why not?
Are you all right for time?
Yeah, as long as you got people out there, we could sit here and talk for 4 hours. It's whatever it is.
I think me and you are just enjoying it more than everybody else.
Well, we're certainly enjoying it as much as anybody else. Yeah. So anyway, tell me about that.
The first test makeup, right? So the first time I ever met, because I was down as the stunts, right? I was helping the stunt world out. CC Smith at the time, he said, "Could you come in? I've just finished Aragon, working on Aragon in Budapest, playing the Razak." And he said, "Spen, it's not an acting role for you, but could you come in and show some movements to Benicio?" I said, "Yeah, no problem." And he goes, "We may ask you to do a bit of really wide stuff in the costume." I'm all right, okay. So that was out the window. I was doing it all.
Yeah, right.
But it is what it is. Yeah, but it is. But the first time I seen Rick Baker, he was like this.
Yeah.
Just staring at me. And I didn't really know who he was at the time. Do you know what I mean? Obviously I know all his work, but I just didn't click who it was. Because I was in a Wolfman zone. I was on these stilts. I didn't have any makeup on. And he was just looking at me. And he's just looking at me and looking at me and looking at me. And he looked at me and he goes, "Frankenstein." And I'm thinking, no, it's the Wolfman, isn't it? But at the time, I was like 3 stone lighter, and I looked like Boris Karloff in his head because of my features. I got strong brow, and he goes, "You could play Frankenstein all day long." And he said it several times. I'm absolutely gutted I didn't actually get to do a Frankenstein makeup on you. You would have been great for it. Right. I said, "You never know. Both our hearts are beating. Let's do it one day. You never know." And I've been over like yourself. I've been over to his workshop.
Rick's a really nice guy too. He's a very giving guy. His mentor was one of the mentors of mine, a guy called Dick Smith, who's really the grandfather of prosthetics in the States. And I was working with Stu Freeborn, and Rick was working with Dick Smith. And then, Dick Smith was a very giving personality. He would tell you asked him about, how to do something, he'd tell you how to do it. Whereas at that point in time, everyone used to keep their secrets in the industry. They, my boss would take the labels off the bottles you were working with, so you didn't know what you were using. Right? The complete opposite, right? Dick was very giving, and Rick adopted that, and all the people that trained with Rick or became Rick's, crew, because he used to always work with like 6. I won't call them trainees. They were all good people that were his his main crew, and they went on to be famous. A lot of them went on to be famous in their own rights, and they all adopted that giving attitude.
Yeah,
And
good.
it's been it's nice. I like to say positive things about people when their names come up, because I think there's too much negativity in the world, and these people who are admired by so many other people, if they've got positive attitudes, I think we need to stress that, because it rubs off. Negativity is infections, but so is positivity.
Yeah. Well, positivity brings positivity. Negative brings negativity. It's light and
Exactly.
dark, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do you know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Yeah.
People. I've had people in the past saying, why don't you set up a movement studio so you can pass on what you know? I was like, well, how can I teach them how? Are we lagging here? I think we're lagging a bit, are we?
No, I
The
think
internet.
you're all right. If you are,
Okay.
it's still coming across okay.
Okay, cool. So, but it's only like I've always when I've been on a show, and the producers or the director asked me to, can you help out that guy over there with some movements? I'll be straight on him, and I'll teach him, but there's certain things are very hard for you to teach somebody how to give them the presence and soul of the character. That's something you can't learn. I feel.
No,
I
you
think
can't.
you're either born with it, or they choose you, if that makes sense. I don't want to get too weird here, but the presence of the character chooses you. Do you know what I mean? And they'll come into you if you're the one as such. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's also a degree of sensitivity. I mean, you get some people who are performers, and they never do anything other than play themselves, and they become known for being Cary Grant, for example, right? Cary Grant didn't play any characters except for Cary Grant, and you get other people who absorb the nuances, they absorb the written word, they absorb what in their imagination they see that character as being, and they interpret that, but I think that they are the more, someone might look at you and not think you're a terribly sensitive guy because you're big and burly, right? But actually that's not the case at all. I can say from experience, on the inside you're probably as soft as I am, but it's a matter of feeling things. You can't portray something if you don't feel it.
That's it. Because I can play the devil. I can play the cuddly furry monster. Whatever you want, whatever comes through to me. I have got a beautiful nature. Big Spen. I look at Big Spen as a lovely natured guy. I see him as a character. It's a weird one, but I'm good with good people, and I can face the bad people if needed. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, well, when I come up against any bad people, I'll give you a call because you're bigger than me,
No
right?
problem.
Yeah, so you're you can be my bodyguard any day, right?
All day. I'd be honoured to be your bodyguard, Nick. I'll keep you safe, mate.
Yeah. So we talked about conventions. I'm just going to go back to that for a moment here. I know you do stuff with the 501st and charity stuff. We talked a little bit about how you would do stuff for kids.
Yeah.
So the question I'm coming down to now, as we come towards the end of this,
I
is
love kids, man.
how do our viewers connect with you to get your autograph when they want it?
I've got a little shop set up on Instagram called Spencer Wilding Merchandise. It's not busy.
Okay.
I don't promote it enough, but if you want to, if you want to get something there, no problem. And we do a picture, and you get a free video with that as well. So we're not
Right.
it's not too
Like
greedy.
a
It's
free
nice.
shout out, right?
Yeah, man, we do with that with the picture. So every signed picture, you get your free video, and it's nice. Yeah, I like to shout it out. People's birthdays, people feel a bit low. We do all that, but everything I
So
do from the heart.
I'm gonna
From the
repeat
heart.
that. I'm gonna repeat that. It's on Instagram and it's all one word: Spencer Wilding Merchandise with no gap. right?
That's right. That's right. Spencer Wilding merchandise.
Right. So that should be
And
pretty easy for people to remember.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me, you can follow me on my Facebook page, which is
Yep.
Spencer Wilding.
Yep.
You'll see me. You'll see me there. There might be a couple of ones there, so it makes the one that's maxed out. That's the one, the real one.
Yep.
Because there's some fake ones out there. Why people want to set up fake accounts, I don't know. It's weird.
I
But
don't
it is what
either,
it is.
but it happens.
Yeah, it happens. And then Instagram is at Spencer Wilding, and Twitter is at Big Spen Wilding. And I've even got my blue tick on Twitter, which is pretty great. Going.
Right.
So I was like, yeah.
But I'm sure, basically once you get to Instagram, you put Spencer Wilding in, you're going to find all of these. But the critical one, if they want an autograph, is Spencer Wilding merchandise.
That's
so
it. Hey,
that's
Joe,
cool.
bear with me 1 second. Joe, you know the site, Spencer Wilding merchandise, isn't it? It's not Spencer Lee Wilding, is it? Spencer Wilding merchandise, isn't it?
It's Spencer Wilding merchandise. I was there.
That's it. There you go. Just double checking.
Cool.
Just double checking. Don't even know me shop.
Hey, Spence, it's been great to catch up with you. I hope we can maybe do this again in a while when you've got another half dozen characters to talk about.
Yeah, well, there's some new stuff coming out, so you keep peeled. And I always give a little message before I go to the kids out there listening.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Kids, follow your dreams. Always follow your dreams. But if you want to follow a dream like myself or Nick, you must get yourself a good job, because you got to fuel the dreams, because you can't live off the parents. It doesn't work that way. You've got to take in the life skills, right? And always eat your sprouts and be careful crossing the road.
Yeah. Okay, we don't have a Green Cross Code Man anymore, I guess.
I've always said that. It was nothing to do with the Green Cross Code Man. I've just always said
right.
that.
But that's cool. Yeah. Well, Spencer, it's been a joy, and I'm hoping, as I say, that we'll do it again. And I can't wait until we're hanging out together at another convention, so we can just natter a bit more.
Or lying on the beach in Bermuda, drinking a pina colada. Hey,
yeah, I'm in St. Martin, and this is the apartment that we let our Star Wars people hang out in. The beach is literally 100 yards from here.
I can feel it. I'll be over there. I'm coming over there. Yeah, I feel it.
You'll have to. You might struggle with the fact that the temperature is nearly always around 80, 84 degrees.
I won't struggle. I'm in the costume. It's double that.
At night it's cold. It drops down to about 70.
Yeah. It's nice on the skin when you've been sunbathing all day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and of course we have lovely trade winds here. So
beautiful.
I'll see you here, or I'll see you there. Take care. So thanks everyone for for coming. I really appreciate you coming to see today's discussion with Spence. What a nice guy he really is. And it's nice to find someone who's big and burly and isn't just using that to throw their weight around, because there's too many people bully their way into other things. Creativity is the focus that we have here at the Folly of Star Foundation, encouraging youngsters to follow their dreams and encouraging oldsters to get out of the chair and pursue that interest before they run out of time and energy to do it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this panel, you can rewatch anytime over the next couple of weeks. Tell your friends about it, because they can come and watch it too. And please consider being a Folly of Star supporter. These StarNet webcasts were started to thank our patrons who supported us through this terrible economic crush. Let me just put the banner up for that. This is our Patreon page, where you can subscribe for $5 a month and help us get through at least another year before everything comes back to normal. So this is Nick Maley, that Yoda guy, saying, may the force be with you. Always. I'll see you next time, okay?